This is the Google Pixel 8 Pro, an upgrade in every respect. Artificial intelligence wherever you look.
But is that enough to justify the increased price?
Most smartphones these days squeeze as many cameras as possible into the top left corner. Not a good idea. Individual lenses quickly get dirty, the device wobbles on any surface, and when it is dropped, it hits the ground camera first. That's why I find the Pixel's design so clever. The cameras are protected in a metal bar. It not only looks minimal, it is practical too. I can support the device in my hand with my finger on the edge of the camera. The Pixel 8 Pro has become rounder, which not only looks better in my opinion, it also makes the device feel smaller and more ergonomic. The glass on the back is now finally matte, and that feels so amazingly soft and cozy. It's very pleasant. You won't see any fingerprints, and the whole thing is stable too thanks to the new Gorilla Glass Victus 2. 3 colors are available: a warm cream shade like I have it here, an intense blue, and a glassy matte black. The frame is once again made out of polished aluminium, which is a bit of a shame because fingerprints and scratches are way more visible here than on the regular Pixel 8, which has a matte frame. The Pixel 8 Pro is water resistant for 30 minutes at 1.5 meters depth. I was curious about the buttons this year. Because my Pixel 7 Pro lost its pressure point after a few months, well, they feel great on the Pixel 8 Pro now, so let's hope it stays this way. There's a tiny new dot next to the camera on the back. That is an infrared thermometer. You can use it, for example, to measure how hot your coffee is, the oil in a pan, or the heat of an iPhone 15 Pro. Soon there will be an update where you can measure your body temperature. Especially for parents with toddlers, this could be handy.
And if you want that, you should totally get the Pixel 8 Pro, because that is exactly the kind of feature they try out in one device and they leave it for good in the next one.
A lot has changed with the display. Where do I even start? It has no longer curves on the side. It is now perfectly flat. It is still ultra sharp with the Quad HD Plus resolution and an adaptive refresh rate from 1 to 120 Hz. The brightness is not only 10, 20 or 30% higher than before, it's over 40%. A maximum of 2400 nits, which is extremely impressive. Everything is still perfectly seeable in the brightest sun. All the other things like color reproduction, contrast and black level are also on a high level. It is hard to take my eyes off the Pixel 8 Pro. No matter what, it looks spectacular. But my highlight are the rounded corners, because that just fits much better with Android, and the bezels are now much thinner as well. I know it looks like they are perfectly symmetrical at first and even the second time, but actually the bottom bezel is a bit thicker than the others. This makes me a little bit sadder than it should, but in most protective cases you probably don't even notice it, and in everyday use you certainly don't pay attention to it. The fingerprint sensor is the same as before. It recognizes me quickly and reliable. However, some people might have problems with it. Either way, an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor like Samsung or Vivo are using them would be way more appropriate for the price. Because the face recognition is now much faster and more secure, I have almost only used it to unlock the Pixel and also log into my banking apps. This even works when there is little light. The camera only reaches its limit in complete darkness.
For 3 years in a row now, Google has built its own processor, and this year it's the Tensor G3. Let me explain the technical stuff in about 20 seconds.
It is manufactured by Samsung in 4 nanometers and has 4 low power, 4 performance and 1 high performance core. There are many cores but at a low clock speed. I could measure around 20% higher CPU and 30% higher GPU performance in benchmarks. A solid upgrade, but still far behind the current Snapdragon or Apple processor.
Okay, 20 seconds is over. Let's talk about the important stuff. Benchmarks really don't matter.
At the end of the day, what really counts is the performance of the smartphone in day-to-day use and in the future, and this is where Google delivers. I did not see a single crash. 120 Hz are stable. The photo processing after the shutter release is quite a bit faster. The Pixel 8 Pro seems even faster and smoother than an iPhone 15 Pro or Galaxy S23 Ultra, which is certainly due to pure Android, but more on that in a moment. Google also promises much longer software updates than Samsung or Apple, a whole 7 years of feature drops. security updates, and 7 years of Android updates.
That is just incredible. Imagine you will get Android 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 and 21 on this device. I can't even comprehend what exactly this means for the Pixel 8 Pro. Will anyone even use this device in 7 years? That's super crazy. The only thing that could stop this from happening is the battery life. And I will talk about it at the end.
But now I want to talk about the software. Android 14 looks beautiful on the Pixel 8 Pro. You can tell that Google designed the hardware and the software. I like the new customizable lock screen with the different clocks and fancy animations when they transition into the always-on display. The interface and especially the notification area is intuitive. Even if you have used an iPhone or Samsung before, I would say that you feel at home after a short period of time. There are many beautiful animation and the color of the wallpaper profoundly affects the color scheme of the entire system. There are small color accents everywhere. Beside pure Android, other operating systems just look a little bit dead and impersonal. If there is a lot of text, the Google Assistant now can read out loud to you, and you can even control the speed. Every song that is playing nearby is automatically recognized and the name is displayed, even if you don't have internet. The dictation feature is so fast and accurate that I use it way more than on any other device. And now you can mark people or objects in photos and either remove them or you can move them and resize them. This means that the Pixel recalculates the background, which it cannot know at all, and this works frighteningly well. There are limits and bugs and the waiting time is pretty long and you have to have internet, but come on, this is crazy and a bit creepy too. Even better and more practical is a feature called Best Shot. It lets you swap faces in a group picture. But also there, the waiting time is quite long.
And that's not everything. Every couple of months there are feature drops and they include soon the Google Assistant combined with Google Bard, and that will enhance the whole Assistant feature to a whole new level because Bard will be able to see, hear and even do tasks. So I said it before and I will say it again, the Pixel 8 Pro feels way smarter than other smartphones.
The Pixel 8 Pro has 3 cameras and all of them have been improved. The 50 megapixel main sensor has been optimized and has a larger aperture, resulting in more light. The ultra-wide angle now is 4 times sharper, it has a larger sensor, a larger aperture and a further field of view. So it's better in every respect. The 5x telephoto camera now has a 2.8 aperture instead of 3.5 and this results in over 50% more light. Pixel images have a distinct look. They are very crispy and contrasty. The white balance tends to be a bit cool and the colors are a bit desaturated. For me, the best thing about the Pixel camera is that I can just pull it out of my pocket and I will know that it will be a sharp picture with no over or under exposure. When I travel to a beautiful place, I want to take a Pixel with me. But not everything is good. Photos of food, for example, are not that delicious and the iPhone 15 Pro is much warmer and brighter. And with Apple, at least I can customize the look with the photographic styles, but unfortunately not with the Pixel. There's only the new Pro mode, which is great, but not quite the same. I really like the improvement on the ultra-wide angle, not only because it fits more in the picture, but because you can still have sharp details at night. You can also get really close to objects. The main camera also has a usable close focus distance. The 5x telephoto camera now looks especially cleaner and sharper than before. Google applies quite an aggressive noise reduction, which unfortunately also leads to a slight loss of detail. Next to the iPhone 15 Pro, this becomes clear. The two are very similar, except that the iPhone image has more noise and therefore looks more detailed. I wouldn't always recommend the 10 times zoom, but since you can now shoot at a maximum resolution on every lens, there are more natural details than before. A zoom enhance feature will be released soon via a feature drop, which should enhance blurry pictures with artificial intelligence. This sounds quite promising. Google says they have very accurate skin colors and I would agree to 95%. The 5% discrepancy is related to the overall cool tone of the picture, which also makes the skin look a little bit cold. Fortunately though, they have reduced the clarity on faces a bit, which was too drastic in the past. The videos are the best I've seen after Samsung and Apple. You can switch between all lenses while filming. An update will include a new feature called Video Boost, which is supposed to provide better results at night and demanding light situations. The videos are uploaded to Google servers and processed. We will see how this works in everyday use. The selfie camera now has an autofocus and I'm very happy with the pictures overall. I've never used flash in photos, but it is way brighter than before and therefore a great flashlight.
Okay, let's talk about battery, and I had one extreme day and a couple of regular days. A regular day consists about 2 to 3 hours of 5G networks. I don't use the dark mode at daytime. I don't have any energy savings activated. And of course, I use this thing a lot with the camera.
My average display use is 4.5 to 5 hours. This is enough for a normal day, but certainly not for 2. The iPhone 15 Pro or Galaxy S23 Ultra hold at least 1 to 2 hours longer. To simulate a city trip, I was outside a whole day long without Wi-Fi, the maximum brightness and a lot of navigation and camera use. The Pixel was empty at 5 PM after 4 hours of display use. I do have the feeling that the modem uses a little bit too much power. I never expected this to be the best battery life on any smartphone, but I was hoping for a little bit more. Likewise with the charging. 50% in 30 minutes with a 30-watt power supply. Google calls it fast charging, but that is not fast charging. 100% in 30 minutes. That is fast.
Conclusion. In the past, Google always was way cheaper than the competition, and therefore, when there was a problem, we kind of had a blind eye because, yeah, the phone was way cheaper. But this year, both of my eyes are way open because the price increased quite a lot. $200 and euros to be exact. And that is quite expensive. And the nerd inside of me is screaming because he wants UFS 4.0 for that price, an ultrasonic fingerprint reader, fast charging, better battery life, and a perfectly symmetrical bezel all around the screen. But the regular dude inside of me, that dude does like stock Android, a good camera and great design, and everything is in here, and 7 years of software upgrades, and still this thing is 200 to 300 euros cheaper than the competition. So yeah, that's a great phone, and I want to see what will happen with it in the next 7 years.